the forgotten universe within you. Welcome. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you can and think back to this morning. What was the last dream you experienced before waking? Can you recall its colors, its textures, the feeling it left behind? For most people, that question brings silence. The dream dissolves like morning mist under sunlight, leaving only a vague sensation that something extraordinary happened, something you cannot quite grasp. Every single night, your brain creates entire worlds. It weaves narratives of stunning complexity, populates them with characters and emotions, constructs landscapes that defy the laws of physics. Yet by the time you finish your morning coffee, these universes have vanished almost completely. You stand at the threshold of something magnificent and mysterious, only to watch it slip through your fingers like sand. This is not a failure of your memory. This is not a weakness in your mind. This is the natural consequence of how your brain is chemically designed during sleep. Your dreams are not meant to be forgotten. They are simply designed to fade unless you actively work to preserve them. The good news is that this preservation is entirely within your reach. The invisible universe that exists every night within your consciousness can be discovered, explored, and retained with gentle, consistent practices rooted in neuroscience. Imagine what it would be like to wake up and remember not fragments but full narratives. Picture yourself understanding the symbols your mind creates, recognizing patterns in your dreams that reflect your waking life. Envision having access to this profound source of creativity, insight, and self-knowledge that has been there all along, waiting to be recovered. Before we begin this journey into the science and art of dream recall, I invite you to take a moment and subscribe to the Relaxing Science channel. Give this video a like, and if you're comfortable, share your location and the current time where you are listening. This simple act of sharing creates a connection. It reminds us that we are exploring these mysteries together across different parts of the world at different hours, yet all united in the desire to understand the hidden dimensions of consciousness. The path forward involves understanding several interconnected truths. First, you will learn why your brain forgets dreams so efficiently, the specific neurochemical processes that make this forgetting almost automatic. Second, you will discover the architecture of your sleep itself, how your nights are structured in cycles, and why some moments are infinitely more valuable than others for capturing dream memories. Third, and most importantly, you will learn practical, evidence-based techniques that align with your brain's natural tendencies to enhance rather than fight against them. This is not about forcing yourself to remember. This is about working with your brain, honoring its design, and gently coaxing it toward retaining what you wish to preserve. The techniques you will learn require no special equipment, no expensive supplements, no complicated procedures. They require only intention, consistency, and a willingness to approach your dreams with curiosity and respect. Throughout this exploration, we will move through the layers of dream science progressively. We will begin with the fundamental biology, move into practical applications, then expand into the deeper significance of what dreams mean for your self-understanding and personal growth. Each step builds upon the previous one, creating a comprehensive understanding that transforms not just your dream recall, but your relationship with sleep itself. The dreams you forget are not lost to the universe. They exist somewhere in the neural networks of your brain, encoded in patterns you have yet to learn to access. Your task is not to create new dreams or to manufacture memories that do not exist. Your task is to develop the skills to retrieve what is already there, to strengthen the neural pathways that connect your dreaming mind to your waking consciousness. As you listen to what follows, allow yourself to relax. There is no pressure to remember everything immediately. There is no requirement to implement all techniques at once. This is an invitation to gradually, gently expand your capacity for dream recall. Some of what you hear will resonate immediately, some will require practice. All of it is designed with your comfort and your natural sleep rhythms in mind. The universe of your dreams awaits rediscovery. The consciousness that creates entire worlds every night, that solves problems while you sleep, that processes emotions and experiences in ways your waking mind cannot. This consciousness is calling out to you. It is asking to be known, to be understood, to be integrated into your waking life. By the end of this experience, you will have the knowledge and tools to answer that call. The neuroscience of dream forgetting. The moment you open your eyes in the morning, a chemical transformation has already begun. Your brain is shifting from one neurochemical state to another, and this transition is the primary reason why dreams vanish so quickly from memory. To understand how to preserve dreams, you must first understand why they slip away so naturally and completely. During the deepest stages of sleep, particularly during REM sleep, the phase when most vivid dreams occur, your brain operates under a very different chemical regime than it does during waking hours. The neurotransmitter responsible for forming new memories, norepinephrine, is almost completely absent from your brain during REM sleep. Norepinephrine is what tags experiences as important, what marks them for storage and consolidation into long-term memory. Without it, even the most vivid and emotionally intense dream has difficulty becoming a lasting memory. Think of norepinephrine as a chemical highlighter. During your waking hours, when something captures your attention, a beautiful sunset, an important conversation, a surprising discovery, norepinephrine floods your brain, marking that experience as significant. Your brain says, in effect, "This matters, remember this." But during REM sleep, when your dreams are most vivid and complex, this chemical highlighter is essentially turned off. Your dreams are vivid and real in the moment, but they lack the chemical signature that would normally preserve them. This creates a paradox that has puzzled sleep scientists for decades. During REM sleep, your brain is incredibly active. Your neurons are firing at rates comparable to waking consciousness. Your dreams can be more vivid, more emotionally intense, more complex than many waking experiences, yet simultaneously, your brain is chemically configured to make forgetting almost inevitable. It is as if your brain deliberately creates experiences that will dissolve, as if the very act of creating dreams requires their impermanence. But this is not random or purposeless. There is a reason for this elegant system. During sleep, your brain is engaged in essential maintenance work. It is consolidating memories from the day, integrating new information with existing knowledge, clearing metabolic waste products that accumulate during waking hours. The dreams you experience are actually byproducts of this maintenance process. They are the subjective experience of your brain reorganizing itself. In this context, forgetting dreams makes sense. They are not information you need to preserve. They are the noise generated by the process of preservation itself. However, and this is crucial, the forgetting is not absolute. It is not instantaneous. There is a window of time, usually measured in minutes, during which a dream can transition from the ephemeral state of REM sleep to a more stable form of memory. This window is your opportunity. If you engage with a dream immediately upon waking, before norepinephrine levels rise too high, and before your brain fully transitions to waking consciousness, you can capture it. You can pull it into memory before it dissolves completely. This is why the practices you will learn later, particularly the dream journal and the intention ritual, are so powerful. They are not fighting against your brain's nature. They are working with it. They are capitalizing on that precious window of time when the dream is still partially accessible, when the neural patterns that created it are still active, when you can reinforce those patterns before they fade. Another key player in dream forgetting is acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that is actually quite high during REM sleep. Acetylcholine promotes vivid imagery and emotional intensity. It is why your dreams feel so real, so immediate, so emotionally charged. But acetylcholine does not promote the kind of logical, sequential memory formation that characterizes waking consciousness. It creates experience without context, intensity without narrative structure. This is why dreams often feel fragmented and illogical when you try to describe them upon waking. The interplay between low norepinephrine and high acetylcholine during REM sleep creates the perfect conditions for vivid experiences that are difficult to remember. Your brain is optimized for generating dreams, not for preserving them. But again, this is not a flaw in your system, it is a feature. Your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do. Understanding this neurochemistry also explains why certain dreams persist while others vanish. Emotionally intense dreams are more likely to be remembered because emotion activates the amygdala, a brain structure that has its own memory-enhancing mechanisms, that partially circumvent the normal dream forgetting process. Dreams that occur closer to your final awakening, when you're beginning to spend more time in lighter sleep stages, are more likely to be retained because your brain chemistry is already beginning to shift back toward waking consciousness. Dreams that occur in the deeper middle portions of your sleep cycle are more likely to be lost because the neurochemical environment is most extreme at those times. And the brain's tendency to forget dreams is not a bug to be fixed. It is a feature to be understood and worked with. When you know why dreams are forgotten, you can take strategic action. You can position yourself to capture dreams at moments when they are most accessible. You can use practices that enhance the neurochemical conditions that favor memory formation. You can align your intentions with your brain's actual design rather than fighting against it. This understanding transforms your relationship with dream recall from a struggle against your brain to a collaboration with it. You are not trying to override your brain's natural forgetting mechanisms. You are simply becoming aware of them and creating conditions where memory preservation becomes possible. In the chapters ahead, you will learn exactly how to do this, working in concert with the elegant neurochemistry that governs your sleep. The architecture of your sleep. Your night is not a continuous, undifferentiated block of unconsciousness. It is a carefully orchestrated symphony of different sleep states, each with its own rhythm, its own purpose, and its own relationship to dreams. Understanding this architecture is essential because not all moments of sleep are equally valuable for dream recall. Some periods of sleep are dream-rich, others are not. Some moments are optimal for capturing dreams, others make it nearly impossible. When you first fall asleep, you do not immediately enter REM sleep. Instead, you begin a journey through what sleep scientists call non-REM sleep, or NREM sleep. This phase has multiple stages, beginning with light sleep and progressing into deeper sleep. During these early stages, your brain is still relatively quiet. Your consciousness is fading, your breathing becomes more regular, your muscle tone relaxes. Dreams during this phase, if they occur at all, tend to be fragmented and thought-like, rather than vivid and narrative. As you progress deeper into NREM sleep, your brain waves slow. You enter a state called slow wave sleep, sometimes called deep sleep. This is when the most profound restoration occurs. Your body repairs itself, your immune system strengthens, your brain consolidates procedural memories, the skills and habits you have learned. But during this deep sleep, dreams are relatively rare, and when they do occur, tend to be less memorable. Then, roughly 90 minutes into your sleep cycle, something shifts. Your brain waves begin to accelerate. Your eyes begin to move rapidly beneath closed eyelids. Your brain chemistry transforms. You have entered REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, and this is where the most vivid, most emotionally intense, most narratively complex dreams occur. This is where your brain creates those entire worlds you experience as so real, so vivid, so emotionally charged. This REM period typically lasts somewhere between 5 and 30 minutes, depending on various factors. Then, just as suddenly as it began, REM sleep ends. Your brain cycles back through the lighter stages of NREM sleep, and the whole process begins again. You have completed what sleep scientists call a sleep cycle, and it typically takes about 90 minutes from beginning to end. Throughout a typical night of sleep, you experience multiple cycles. A person sleeping 8 hours might experience 5 or 6 complete sleep cycles. But here is where the architecture becomes particularly interesting. The proportion of REM sleep increases as the night progresses. Your first sleep cycle of the night might contain only a small amount of REM sleep, perhaps 5 or 10 minutes. But by the time you reach your final sleep cycles, before you wake in the morning, REM sleep comprises a much larger portion of the cycle. You might spend 30, 40, or even 50 minutes in REM sleep during those final cycles. This means that the dreams you experience in the early part of the night are less numerous and less vivid than the dreams you experience in the hours before waking. The richest dream material, the most accessible dreams, the ones most likely to be retained, tend to cluster in the final 2 hours of sleep. This is tremendously important information because it means that if you want to maximize dream recall, Paying attention to what you dream in those final hours before waking can yield remarkable results. The timing of your wake-up is therefore not incidental to dream recall, it is fundamental. If you set an alarm that wakes you abruptly in the middle of a sleep cycle, you are likely to interrupt your sleep in a way that makes dream recall difficult. But if you wake naturally, or if you wake at a moment when you are already transitioning between sleep stages, you are much more likely to capture a fresh dream from your consciousness. This is why many people report that their best dreams come on weekend mornings, when they do not need to wake at a specific time. They naturally sleep longer, they experience those final REM-rich cycles, and they wake gently as their sleep cycle naturally concludes. Their brain has time to transition smoothly from REM sleep to waking consciousness, and in that transition, dreams become accessible. Your sleep architecture also varies based on your age, your health, your sleep debt, and various other factors. If you are sleep deprived, your brain prioritizes deep sleep to catch up on essential restoration, and REM sleep becomes compressed. This is why people who are severely sleep deprived often report remembering few dreams, not because they are not dreaming, but because their REM periods are shortened and less prominent. Conversely, if you have been sleeping well and your sleep debt is paid, your brain allows more time for REM sleep, and dreams become more abundant and accessible. Temperature also influences your sleep architecture. A slightly cool room, around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, tends to optimize sleep quality and the balance between different sleep stages. A room that is too warm can disrupt the natural progression through sleep cycles and can reduce REM sleep. This is one reason why sleep environment matters so profoundly for dream recall. The concept of sleep cycles also explains why certain practices, which you will learn about in subsequent chapters, are so effective. When you set an intention before sleep that you will remember your dreams, you are essentially programming your brain to pay attention during the final REM periods of the night. When you use a dream journal, you are capitalizing on that window of time when you are most likely to have just experienced a vivid dream. When you practice waking at natural arousal points, you are aligning your wake-up with moments when your brain is already beginning to transition from REM sleep, making dreams most accessible. Understanding your sleep architecture is not just theoretical knowledge, it is practical wisdom that transforms how you approach dream recall. It shifts you from trying random techniques and hoping something works to understanding exactly why certain moments of the night are optimal for capturing dreams. It allows you to work strategically, to position yourself for success, to recognize that your brain has already designed the perfect opportunity for dream recall. You simply need to align with that design. The intention ritual. Before sleep even arrives, before your eyes close and your consciousness begins its nightly journey inward, something begins to shift in your brain. The simple act of setting an intention, of consciously deciding that you will remember your dreams, initiates a cascade of neurological changes that will influence how your brain processes information throughout the night. Intention is not mystical or magical. It is a neurological phenomenon grounded in how your brain allocates attention and resources. Your brain is constantly filtering information, deciding what is important and what can be ignored. At any given moment, your sensory organs are receiving far more information than your conscious mind can process. Your brain solves this problem by deploying attention selectively. It focuses on what you have decided matters and filters out the rest. When you set an intention to remember your dreams, you are essentially instructing your brain's attention systems to prioritize dream content. You are telling your brain, this matters, pay attention to this tonight. This instruction does not guarantee that you will remember every dream, but it does increase the probability that your brain will allocate the neurological resources necessary for dream memory formation. The mechanism behind this is partly understood through research on the default mode network, a set of brain regions that become active when your mind wanders or when you are not focused on external tasks. The default mode network is particularly active during REM sleep, and it is involved in the generation of dreams themselves. When you set an intention before sleep, you are essentially priming this network, sensitizing it to the content it generates. Your brain becomes more likely to tag dream content as important, more likely to activate the memory systems that can preserve it. The intention ritual need not be complicated. In fact, simplicity is often more effective than complexity. The most basic version involves lying in bed before sleep, in a relaxed state, and quietly repeating a simple affirmation to yourself. Something as straightforward as, "Tonight, I will remember my dreams," or "My dreams are clear and vivid, and I will remember them." The repetition helps encode the intention into your neural networks. As you repeat this intention, allow your mind to form a gentle mental image. You might visualize yourself waking in the morning and immediately recalling a vivid dream. You might imagine yourself writing in a dream journal, the details flowing from your mind onto the page. You might picture yourself understanding a dream's meaning, recognizing its symbols. The specific image matters less than the emotional tone. The intention should feel positive, achievable, and aligned with your actual desire. The timing of this ritual is important. You want to set your intention when you are already in a relaxed state, when your mind is beginning to slow down, when you are approaching sleep but not yet fully asleep. This is often called the hypnagogic state, the threshold between waking and sleeping. In this state, your brain is particularly receptive to suggestion and intention setting. You are not fully conscious enough to engage your analytical mind, but not yet asleep enough to be unconscious. This liminal space is where intention setting is most powerful. One effective approach is to combine the intention with your breathing. As you breathe in, you might silently say or think the first part of your intention, "Tonight." As you exhale, the second part, "I will remember my dreams." You might continue this rhythm for 5 to 10 breath cycles, allowing your mind to settle with each repetition. This combines the calming effects of conscious breathing with the power of intention setting. Another dimension of the intention ritual involves what researchers call prospective memory, the ability to remember to do something in the future. When you set an intention to remember your dreams, you are essentially asking your brain to perform a future action, to retrieve and consolidate dream memories upon waking. This type of memory engages different neural circuits than simple factual recall, and it is enhanced by the act of conscious intention. The intention ritual also works through what is sometimes called the expectancy effect. When you genuinely expect to remember your dreams, your brain behaves differently than when you expect to forget them. This is not positive thinking or wishful thinking. It is a neurological reality. Your expectations influence how your brain allocates resources, how it processes information, what it prioritizes. By genuinely expecting to remember your dreams, you are setting your brain on a different trajectory. It is important to approach this ritual with authenticity. You do not want to set an intention that you do not actually believe or that feels forced. If you are skeptical about whether dream recall is truly possible, it is better to set an intention that acknowledges your actual state. I am curious about my dreams and open to remembering them. This creates an intention that is honest and therefore neurologically effective. The intention ritual is most powerful when practiced consistently. A single night of intention setting might have some effect, but the real power emerges when you establish this as a nightly practice. Over time, your brain begins to expect that you will be trying to remember your dreams. It begins to allocate resources in anticipation. The neural pathways associated with dream memory formation become strengthened and more readily activated. Many people find that after a week or two of consistent intention setting, they begin to notice changes in their dream recall, even before implementing other techniques. Simply the act of consciously deciding that dreams matter, that they are worth remembering, that you are paying attention to them, this alone can produce measurable improvements. Your brain is responding to your stated priorities. The intention ritual also serves a psychological function beyond the neurological. It creates a transition moment between your waking life and sleep. It marks the beginning of your engagement with dreams as something meaningful and intentional. This ritual can become a meditation, a moment of genuine connection with your own consciousness, a time when you pause and acknowledge that something important is about to occur. As you develop this practice, you might experiment with variations. Some people find that writing their intention in a journal before bed enhances its power. Others prefer to speak it aloud in a whisper. Some find that combining intention setting with a specific physical gesture, perhaps placing a hand on your heart, adds another layer of meaning and neurological engagement. The key is to find an approach that feels authentic and resonant for you, that you can sustain consistently, and that creates a genuine sense of connection with your intention. The Dream Journal Awakening. The moment you open your eyes in the morning, a race against forgetting begins. If you lie in bed for even a few minutes without engaging with the dream you have just experienced, it starts to fade. The neurochemical state of your brain is shifting rapidly. Norepinephrine is rising. The neural patterns that encoded the dream are beginning to decay. Every minute that passes without capturing the dream makes it progressively harder to retrieve. This is why the Dream Journal is such a powerful tool. It is not merely a record-keeping device. It is an active intervention in the process of memory formation. When you write about a dream immediately upon waking, you are doing several neurologically significant things simultaneously. First, you are engaging your language centers and your working memory in processing the dream. The act of translating the dream from its original form, which is largely visual, emotional, and sensory, into language requires your brain to activate different neural regions. This activation reinforces the neural patterns that encoded the dream in the first place. You are essentially re-experiencing the dream in a different modality, which strengthens the memory trace. Second, you are creating an external memory storage system. Your brain does not need to hold the entire dream in biological memory because it is now encoded in written form. This frees up your brain's resources while simultaneously creating a backup that you can refer to later. This is why people who keep dream journals often find that reading past entries triggers vivid memories of dreams they thought they had completely forgotten. The journal entry serves as a retrieval cue, activating the original neural patterns. Third, the act of writing itself, the physical motor act of moving a pen across paper or typing on a keyboard, creates additional neural engagement. Research on learning and memory shows that handwriting in particular engages more neural regions than typing, and certainly more than simply thinking about something. If you have the option, handwriting your dreams in a journal is more effective for memory consolidation than typing them into a computer. Though typing is certainly better than not writing at all, the ideal approach is to keep your dream journal on your nightstand, the moment you wake, before you even get out of bed. Before you check your phone or engage with your waking life, you begin writing. At this point, you may only have fragments, a feeling, a color, a face, a single vivid image. Write these down. Do not worry about capturing the entire dream perfectly. Do not wait until you feel you remember the complete narrative. The fragments you capture immediately are the seeds from which fuller memories often emerge. As you write, more details often return to you. The act of writing about one element of the dream frequently triggers memories of connected elements. You write about a room and suddenly you remember who was in the room. You write about a conversation and the setting comes into focus. The journal becomes a tool for progressive memory retrieval, where each detail you capture helps you recover additional details. It is important to write in the present tense, as if you are experiencing the dream again. Rather than "I was walking down a street," write "I am walking down a street." This subtle shift in language re-engages your brain in the experience itself, rather than treating it as a distant memory. The present tense also tends to be more emotionally immediate, which activates the amygdala and other brain regions involved in emotional memory formation. Include not just the narrative elements of the dream, but also the emotional tone. What did you feel in the dream? What was the overall mood? Was there a sense of anxiety, peace, excitement, confusion, or something else entirely? These emotional elements are often the most stable aspects of dream memory. They persist longer than specific details, and capturing them helps you retain the dream's essential character. Some people find it helpful to include sensory details as well. What did you see? What did you hear? Were there smells or tastes? What textures did you feel? The multi-sensory richness of dreams is one of their most distinctive features, and engaging all your sensory modalities when recalling dreams strengthens the memory. Activating multiple sensory cortices creates more neural pathways to the memory, making it more robust and more easily retrievable. Over time, as you develop the habit of keeping a dream journal, something remarkable often happens. Your dreams become more vivid and more memorable even before you write them down. This is because your brain is learning that dreams matter, that they are worth attending to. It is responding to your consistent attention by producing more memorable dreams and by allocating more resources to dream memory formation. The journal is not just recording dreams, it is training your brain to produce more dream content and to make that content more accessible. The journal also serves a function beyond immediate memory capture. When you read through your dream journal over weeks and months, patterns begin to emerge. You notice recurring themes, recurring characters, recurring settings. You start to recognize your own personal dream vocabulary, the symbols and scenarios that your mind uses to communicate with itself. This recognition itself enhances memory. Dreams that fit into recognized patterns are more easily retrieved than isolated, seemingly random dreams. Many people find that the act of keeping a dream journal becomes meditative and meaningful in its own right. The quiet moments in the morning, before the day's demands begin, sitting with your dreams and your pen, honoring what your mind created during the night. This becomes a form of self-care and self-knowledge. The journal becomes a dialogue between your waking and dreaming selves, a way of listening to what your deeper mind is trying to communicate. There is no need for elaborate journaling systems or special notebooks, though some people enjoy using a dedicated dream journal. A simple notebook kept on your nightstand works perfectly well. The key is consistency and immediacy. Every morning, immediately upon waking, you engage with your dreams in written form. You do not need to write for long. Often 5 or 10 minutes is sufficient to capture the essential elements. But those 5 or 10 minutes, done consistently, produce remarkable changes in dream recall over weeks and months. Waking at the right moment. Your alarm clock is about to become either your greatest ally or your greatest obstacle in dream recall. The difference lies entirely in understanding when to wake and how to wake in a way that aligns with your sleep architecture, rather than fighting against it. As we explored earlier, your sleep cycle's approximately 90 minutes long, with REM sleep becoming increasingly prevalent and extended as the night progresses. If you wake in the middle of a deep sleep cycle, when you are in the depths of slow-wave sleep, you are far from the dreaming mind. You are in a state of profound unconsciousness, and waking at this moment means that even if you were dreaming before you woke, the dream is likely to be inaccessible. Your brain chemistry is in the wrong state, and the dream will dissolve rapidly. But if you wake at a natural transition point, at the end of a sleep cycle, during a lighter stage of sleep, or during an arousal that your brain naturally generates, you are much more likely to have a dream fresh in your consciousness. This is because at these transition points, your brain is already beginning to shift toward waking consciousness. You're not in the neurochemical depths of REM sleep. You're at the threshold where dreams are most accessible. One of the most effective strategies for dream recall is to allow yourself to wake naturally without an alarm, at least on some nights. Many people find that weekends or days when they do not have to wake at a specific time are perfect for this. You sleep as long as your body naturally wants to sleep, and you wake gently, organically, when your brain is ready. In this scenario, you almost always have a dream available in your consciousness, simply because you are waking at a moment when your brain is naturally transitioning out of sleep. However, not everyone has the luxury of waking without an alarm. If you need to wake at a specific time, there are strategies to align your wake time with your sleep cycles. If you know you typically fall asleep around 10 o'clock and your sleep cycles are 90 minutes long, you can calculate approximately when your cycles will complete. Falling asleep at 10 o'clock, you might complete cycles at 11:30, 1 o'clock, 2:30, 4 o'clock, and 5:30. If you need to wake at around 6 o'clock, you are waking near the end of a cycle, which is ideal. This is why some sleep experts recommend sleeping in increments of 90 minutes or multiples thereof. 6 hours of sleep, 4 complete cycles, or 7.5 hours of sleep, 5 complete cycles, might allow you to wake at the end of a cycle. 8 hours of sleep, approximately 5 1/3 cycles, means you might wake in the middle of a cycle, which is less ideal. But this varies based on your individual sleep patterns. Of course, calculating sleep cycles is not an exact science. Individual variations in sleep cycle length are significant. Some people's cycles are closer to 80 minutes, Others are closer to 100 minutes. Your cycles can vary from night to night based on your sleep debt, your stress level, your health, and various other factors. But even a rough understanding of when your cycles likely complete can help you choose a wake time that is less disruptive and more likely to preserve dream access. If you must use an alarm, consider the type of alarm. A harsh, sudden alarm that jolts you awake is particularly disruptive. It shocks your brain out of sleep and can fragment dream memories that might otherwise have been accessible. Some research suggests that gentler alarm sounds or gradual alarms that slowly increase in volume allow for a more natural transition to waking and better dream recall. Many modern smartphones allow you to set gentle alarm sounds, or you can use apps specifically designed for sleep and dream recall that use gradually increasing sounds, or even light-based alarms that simulate sunrise. These gentler approaches to waking are more aligned with your brain's natural transition from sleep to wakefulness. Another strategy involves what sleep researchers call polyphasic sleep awareness. This involves setting an intention in the evening to wake at a specific time when you are likely to be in a lighter sleep stage. Then during the night, you allow your brain's natural arousal mechanisms to work with this intention. You might find yourself naturally waking at or near your intended time during a lighter sleep stage when dreams are most accessible. This works because your brain actually monitors time to some degree, even during sleep, and it can respond to intentions set before sleep. Some people practice waking slightly earlier than necessary, spending a few minutes in bed with their eyes closed, allowing themselves to drift back into sleep for another cycle. This can be surprisingly effective. You get an additional sleep cycle, which is rich in REM sleep, and then you wake more naturally. The key is timing this so that you do not oversleep, but the few minutes of additional sleep can significantly enhance dream vividness and accessibility. It is also worth noting that your first dream upon waking is not always your last dream of the night. Sometimes the dream most accessible to your consciousness upon waking is actually from an earlier cycle. This is why it is valuable to capture whatever dream is accessible. Even if it does not feel like it should be your last dream, you are capturing what your brain is offering you, and that is what matters. The relationship between waking and dreaming is therefore not incidental. It is central to dream recall. How you wake, when you wake, and how gently you transition from sleep to wakefulness all influence whether dreams remain accessible or dissolve into forgetting. By understanding your sleep cycles and aligning your wake time with them, you are working with your brain's natural design rather than against it. You are positioning yourself for success, allowing your brain to offer you the dreams it has created, rather than asking it to retrieve dreams from a state of deep unconsciousness where they are inaccessible. The language of symbols. When you wake with a dream fresh in your mind and you begin to describe it, you immediately encounter something peculiar. Your dream does not follow the rules of waking logic. A person might transform into someone else mid-conversation. A building might be simultaneously indoors and outdoors. You might be simultaneously yourself and observing yourself from outside your body. These are not errors or corruptions of memory. They are the fundamental way that dreams communicate. Dreams do not speak in the language of logic and sequential narrative. They speak in the language of symbol, emotion, and metaphor. They communicate through imagery that is often startling, sometimes baffling, sometimes profound. To truly engage with your dreams, to deepen your memory of them, you must learn to speak this language. You must develop what might be called a dream literacy. The symbolic language of dreams is deeply personal. There is no universal dream dictionary where you can look up what a particular symbol means. A house in your dream might represent yourself, your family, your security, or something entirely different, depending on your personal associations and your life context. A water might represent emotions, the unconscious, cleansing, or danger. A journey might represent personal growth, transition, or escape. But what these symbols mean to you is determined by your own experiences, your own memories, your own emotional landscape. This is why dream interpretation is not something that can be done by someone else. A dream analyst or therapist can offer suggestions and frameworks, but ultimately you are the expert on your own dreams. You are the only one who knows your personal associations, your unique symbolism, your individual dream vocabulary. One way to develop your personal dream language is through what might be called symbol tracking. As you keep your dream journal and review it over weeks and months, you begin to notice which symbols appear repeatedly. A particular animal might appear in multiple dreams. A certain type of building or landscape might recur. A specific emotion or sensation might characterize several different dreams. These recurring elements are the vocabulary your deeper mind uses to communicate with you. When you notice a recurring symbol, you can deepen your understanding by asking yourself, what does this symbol mean to me? What are my personal associations with it? What emotions does it evoke? What memories does it connect to? The answers to these questions form your personal dream dictionary. Over time, you begin to recognize patterns in how your mind uses symbols to express different ideas and experiences. Another dimension of dream language is emotional tone. Often, the specific details of a dream matter less than the overall feeling it creates. A dream might be chaotic and anxiety-producing, or peaceful and harmonious, or surreal and wonder-filled. These emotional tones are not accidental. They are the dream's primary message. Your deeper mind is communicating something through the emotional texture of the dream, and paying attention to these emotions often reveals insights that the literal dream content might not offer. The narrative structure of dreams is also distinct from waking storytelling. Dreams often jump between scenes without transition. They layer multiple narratives simultaneously. They present situations that are impossible in waking life, as if they were completely normal. This non-linear, non-logical structure is not a flaw in the dream. It is a feature. Your brain is expressing multiple ideas, multiple layers of meaning simultaneously. The dream is not trying to tell you a story in the conventional sense. It is trying to show you something about your inner experience that cannot be fully captured in linear narrative. Understanding this language also helps with memory. When you recognize that a dream is expressing something through symbol and emotion rather than literal narrative, you shift how you engage with it. You stop trying to figure out what it means in a literal sense and instead allow yourself to feel into the dream's meaning. This shift in engagement often makes dreams more memorable because you are engaging with them in the way they were created, through feeling and intuition rather than logical analysis. Many people find that discussing dreams with others, particularly in a group setting, can illuminate aspects of the dream language that might not be obvious in isolation. When someone else offers an association or an interpretation, it can trigger new understanding or recognition in you. However, it is important to remember that you remain the ultimate authority. Someone else's interpretation might resonate, but it should resonate with your own inner truth, not replace your own understanding. As you develop fluency in your personal dream language, something remarkable happens. Your dreams often become more vivid, more detailed, and more memorable. This is because your brain recognizes that you are paying attention, that you are engaging with the language it is speaking. Your brain begins to invest more resources in dream creation and dream memory formation. You are entering into a genuine dialogue with your deeper consciousness. The language of symbols is also where dreams connect to the deeper purposes they serve. When your brain creates a symbolic dream, it is not just generating random imagery for the sake of it. It is processing something, expressing something, trying to communicate something. The symbols are the vehicles through which this communication occurs. By learning to understand the language, you are accessing the intelligence and wisdom that your deeper mind is offering you. Reality checks and consciousness. There exists a peculiar state of consciousness that exists at the threshold between dreaming and waking awareness. In this state, you are still in a dream, still immersed in the dream's world, but you are simultaneously aware that you are dreaming. You know that the events you are experiencing are not literally real. You are observing them from a position of consciousness. This state is called lucid dreaming, and it represents one of the most powerful techniques for enhancing dream memory. When you are lucid in a dream, your memory systems are functioning differently than in non-lucid dreaming. The neurochemical environment is still that of REM sleep, but your prefrontal cortex, the brain region associated with self-awareness and metacognition, shows increased activation. This combination creates a unique state where you have the vivid, immersive experience of dreaming combined with the conscious awareness and memory-forming capabilities of waking consciousness. The memory benefit of lucid dreaming is profound. A lucid dream, because it involves conscious awareness and active engagement with the dream content, is far more likely to be remembered than a non-lucid dream. You are essentially tagging the dream as important while you are still in it. You are consciously attending to it, which triggers the memory formation systems that would normally be offline during non-lucid REM sleep. Developing lucidity in dreams is not an advanced skill reserved for the naturally talented. It is something that can be cultivated through specific practices. The most fundamental practice is called reality testing. Throughout your waking day, you pause periodically and ask yourself, "Am I dreaming?" This might sound simple, but the practice has a remarkable effect. Over time, this habit of reality testing begins to carry over into your dreams. You find yourself asking the same question in dreams. Am I dreaming? And sometimes the answer is yes. One effective reality test involves trying to push your finger through your palm. In waking life, your finger will not pass through your palm. The physics of solid matter prevents it. But in dreams, the rules of physics are often suspended. Your finger might pass through your palm easily, or it might feel strange and insubstantial. This discrepancy can trigger the realization that you are dreaming. Other reality tests involve checking the time or reading text. In dreams, digital displays often malfunction or show impossible times. Text, when you read it in a dream, often changes when you look away and look back again. These inconsistencies can serve as triggers for lucidity. The key to making reality testing effective is consistency and genuine engagement. You are not simply going through the motions of asking yourself if you are dreaming. You are genuinely considering the question, genuinely examining the evidence, genuinely opening yourself to the possibility that you might be dreaming. When you approach reality testing with authentic curiosity, it becomes a powerful tool for developing lucidity. Another technique for developing lucidity is called the mnemonic induction of lucid dreams, or MILD. This technique involves setting a specific intention before sleep to become lucid in a dream. You lie in bed and repeat to yourself, "The next time I am dreaming, I will remember that I am dreaming." You might visualize yourself becoming lucid in a dream. You might imagine yourself in a familiar dream setting and imagine recognizing the dream as a dream within that context. This combines the power of intention setting with visualization and repetition. The MILD technique works because it primes your brain's attention systems to monitor for the distinctive features of dreams. You're essentially asking your brain to flag dream content as such, to recognize it as dream rather than accepting it as waking reality. With consistent practice, your brain becomes better at recognizing these flags, and lucidity becomes more frequent. Reality testing and lucidity cultivation are not about escaping dreams or controlling them. They are about bringing conscious awareness into the dreaming process. They are about becoming awake within the dream. And when you are awake within the dream, you are simultaneously engaging all the memory-forming systems of waking consciousness while still immersed in the vivid, emotionally intense experience of dreaming. This combination produces exceptional memory formation. Even if you never achieve full lucidity, the practices of reality testing and lucidity cultivation have benefits for dream recall. They increase your overall awareness of dreaming as a distinct state of consciousness. They train your brain to attend to dream content more closely. They create a mindset in which dreams are recognized as significant and worthy of attention. All of these effects enhance memory formation, even in non-lucid dreams. The relationship between consciousness and dreaming is thus more complex and more malleable than common understanding suggests. You are not simply either awake or asleep, either conscious or unconscious. There are gradations and hybrid states. Lucid dreaming is one such hybrid state, but even without achieving lucidity, you can cultivate a form of conscious engagement with your dreams that brings the memory benefits of waking awareness into the dreaming process. As you develop these practices, you might notice that your relationship with your dreams transforms. Dreams become less mysterious and more knowable. They become less something that happens to you and more something that you participate in. This shift in relationship in itself often leads to improved memory. You are no longer a passive recipient of dreams. You are an active participant in your own dreaming consciousness. The power of repetition and pattern. Your mind is a pattern recognition machine. It is constantly scanning your experience for regularities, for recurring elements, for themes that repeat across different contexts. This fundamental tendency of your brain, when applied to dreams, becomes a powerful tool for memory enhancement. Recurring dreams are among the most memorable dreams. A dream that repeats night after night, week after week, or even over years, becomes deeply encoded in memory. You do not need special techniques to remember a recurring dream. It is already memorable because repetition itself is a memory enhancer. But understanding this principle allows you to leverage it intentionally. When you notice a recurring dream, pay particular attention to it. Write about it in your journal with special care. Ask yourself, what is this dream trying to communicate? Why does my mind return to this scenario repeatedly? What does it have in common with other recurring dreams? The fact that your mind keeps generating the same dream suggests that there is something important being communicated, something that your deeper consciousness considers significant. Recurring dreams often reflect ongoing concerns, unresolved issues, or persistent patterns in your life. A dream about being late might reflect anxiety about meeting expectations. A dream about being chased might reflect avoidance of something in your waking life. A dream about a particular person or place might reflect unfinished business or ongoing significance. The repetition is your deeper mind's way of insisting that you pay attention. Beyond fully recurring dreams, there are also patterns and themes that appear across multiple different dreams. These thematic patterns are equally valuable for memory purposes. You might notice that dreams about water appear several times over a period of weeks, or dreams in which you are searching for something, or dreams in which you encounter a particular type of person or animal. These recurring elements, even when they appear in different narrative contexts, form a pattern that your mind is exploring. Recognizing these patterns enhances memory in several ways. First, it provides a framework for organizing dream memories. Instead of remembering individual dreams as isolated events, you begin to see them as part of a larger pattern. This organization itself aids memory. Your brain is better at remembering things that are organized into meaningful categories than things that seem random and unrelated. Second, recognizing patterns deepens your engagement with your dreams. You begin to ask more sophisticated questions, not just what happened in this dream, but how does this dream relate to the pattern I have noticed? What new variation does it introduce? What does this particular expression of the pattern reveal? This deeper level of engagement activates more neural pathways, which strengthens memory. Third, patterns reveal the deep concerns and preoccupations of your mind. When you recognize that certain themes repeat, you are accessing information about what your deeper consciousness considers important. This insight itself can be transformative. You might realize that a particular concern has been occupying your mind more than you consciously acknowledged. You might recognize that a particular type of situation or emotion keeps arising in different forms. This awareness can prompt changes in your waking life that actually reduce the need for the dream to keep repeating. The relationship between repetition and memory is bidirectional. Patterns in your dreams enhance memory of those dreams. But also, as you remember your dreams more consistently, you become more aware of the patterns in them. The act of remembering reveals patterns, and the recognition of patterns strengthens further memory. This creates a virtuous cycle where improved dream recall leads to deeper pattern recognition, which leads to even stronger dream memory. Some people find it helpful to create a dream map or visual representation of the themes and patterns they observe in their dreams. This might be a simple list, organized by theme. It might be a more elaborate visual diagram showing connections between different dream elements. The act of creating this map forces you to think deeply about your dreams, to organize them mentally, to recognize connections. This cognitive work itself enhances memory and understanding. Another way to leverage patterns is to set an intention before sleep to continue exploring a particular theme. If you have noticed that dreams about water have appeared several times, You might set an intention. Tonight, I am open to exploring what water means in my dreams. This primes your brain to generate dreams that explore this theme, and it increases your attention to these dreams when they occur. You are creating a focused exploration of a particular aspect of your dream vocabulary. Over time, as you become more aware of patterns in your dreams, you begin to develop expertise in your own dream language. You understand what certain recurring elements mean, what they represent, how they evolve. This expertise itself becomes a form of memory. You're not just remembering individual dreams, you're remembering the patterns and meanings that connect them. This integration of dreams into a coherent personal mythology is one of the deepest benefits of consistent dream recall and analysis. Sensory anchoring in dreams. Your waking experience is fundamentally multisensory. You do not just see the world, you hear it, smell it, taste it, feel it with your skin. Each of these sensory modalities contributes to your memory of experiences. When you remember a moment, you often remember not just what you saw, but what you heard, what you felt, sometimes even what you smelled or tasted. Dreams also involve multiple sensory modalities, though often in different proportions than waking experience. Visual imagery tends to dominate dreams, but sound, touch, smell, and taste are also present. And remarkably, sensory experiences in dreams can be quite vivid and detailed. You might taste food in a dream with surprising clarity. You might feel textures with remarkable specificity. You might smell familiar scents. The sensory richness of dreams is important for memory. When you engage multiple sensory modalities in recalling a dream, you activate multiple sensory cortices in your brain. This creates multiple neural pathways to the memory, making it more robust and more easily retrievable. A dream that you remember only visually is more fragile than a dream that you remember visually, tactilely, and emotionally. This principle suggests a specific strategy for enhancing dream memory. Deliberately attend to sensory details when recalling and recording dreams. When you write in your dream journal, do not just describe what you saw. Ask yourself, what did I hear? What textures did I feel? Were there any distinctive smells, any tastes? By deliberately engaging all your sensory modalities in recalling the dream, you are strengthening the memory trace. Some people find that re-engaging the senses while recalling a dream can actually trigger additional dream memories. If you remember a taste in a dream, trying to recall what that taste was like can sometimes trigger memories of other sensory details that were present in the dream. The sensory engagement becomes a retrieval cue, unlocking additional memories that might otherwise remain inaccessible. There is also a dimension of sensory awareness that extends beyond the dream itself. If you cultivate heightened sensory awareness during your waking hours, this often carries over into your dreams. People who practice mindfulness of sensory experience during the day often report more sensory detail in their dreams. The habit of attending to sensory detail becomes generalized. Your brain learns to encode sensory information more richly, and this applies to both waking and dreaming experience. One specific practice that can enhance sensory awareness in dreams is what might be called sensory meditation. Before sleep, you might spend a few minutes deliberately attending to each of your senses in turn. You might focus on what you hear, really listening to the ambient sounds around you. You might focus on what you feel, noticing the texture of the bedding, the temperature of the air, the sensation of your body. You might focus on what you smell. This pre-sleep sensory meditation primes your sensory systems and often leads to more vivid sensory experience in dreams. Some people find that incorporating specific scents into their sleep environment can anchor dream memories. You might use an essential oil or a scent that you find pleasant and calming, introducing it into your bedroom only when you are trying to enhance dream recall. The scent becomes a contextual anchor. It becomes associated with your dream recall practice. Some research suggests that exposing yourself to a particular scent before sleep and then again upon waking can enhance the memory of dreams that occurred during that sleep period. Similarly, some people find that playing specific music or ambient sounds while falling asleep and then again upon waking can anchor dream memories. The auditory environment becomes a retrieval cue. The sounds themselves might even appear in your dreams, creating a thread that connects your waking and dreaming experience. The principle underlying all of these sensory anchoring techniques is straightforward. Memory is enhanced when you engage multiple modalities. A dream that engages your visual, auditory, tactile, and emotional systems is more memorable than a dream that engages only one or two of these modalities. And by deliberately attending to sensory details when recalling and recording dreams, you are ensuring that you are engaging all available modalities, maximizing memory formation. As you develop sensitivity to sensory details in your dreams, you might also notice that dreams become progressively more vivid and sensory-rich. Your brain, recognizing that you are attending to sensory detail, begins to generate dreams with more sensory content. What began as a strategy for remembering dreams becomes a way of enhancing the vividness of dreams themselves. Your attention shapes what your brain creates, the emotional imprint. If you have ever experienced a dream that was so emotionally intense that it remained with you for days, you have experienced directly the power of emotion in dream memory. Emotional intensity is perhaps the single strongest predictor of whether a dream will be remembered. Dreams that carry strong emotional charge, whether that emotion is fear, joy, sadness, or something more complex, are far more likely to be retained than emotionally neutral dreams. This is not accidental. It is rooted in the neurobiology of memory. The amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure deep in your brain, is the emotion center. It is involved in processing emotional significance and in tagging experiences as important for memory formation. When you have an emotionally intense experience, your amygdala becomes highly active, and this activity triggers the release of neurochemicals that enhance memory consolidation. During REM sleep, when you are dreaming, the amygdala remains active. In fact, the emotional centers of your brain are particularly active during REM sleep, which is why dreams are often so emotionally intense. But here is the crucial point. The amygdala's activity during REM sleep has memory-enhancing effects that partially circumvent the normal dream-forgetting mechanisms. Emotional dreams are remembered better than non-emotional dreams, even though both occur in the same neurochemical environment of REM sleep. This suggests a counterintuitive strategy for enhancing dream recall. Pay particular attention to the emotional content of your dreams. When you record a dream in your journal, do not just describe the events. Describe the emotions. What did you feel? What was the emotional tone of the dream? Was there anxiety, peace, excitement, confusion, wonder, sadness, or something else? By deliberately engaging with the emotional dimension of your dreams, you are activating the same memory-enhancing systems that naturally preserve emotionally intense dreams. Moreover, attending to emotions in dreams often reveals something important about what the dream is communicating. The emotion is often the most stable and meaningful part of the dream. You might forget the specific details of a dream, but you remember how it made you feel. And that feeling is often the essential message. Your deeper mind is communicating something through emotion, and honoring that emotional truth is part of understanding what the dream is trying to tell you. There is also a reciprocal relationship between emotional engagement with dreams and dream recall. When you approach your dreams with emotional openness and authenticity, when you allow yourself to feel the emotions they contain, you are strengthening the emotional memory traces. You are also signaling to your brain that these dreams matter, that their emotional content is significant. Your brain responds by making them more accessible and more memorable. Some people find that creating a dedicated space for emotional reflection on dreams enhances their relationship with dream emotion. This might involve spending a few minutes after recording a dream in your journal, simply sitting with the feeling the dream created. You might ask yourself, what does this emotion remind me of? Where have I felt this in my waking life? What is my dream trying to help me understand about this emotion? This reflective practice deepens your engagement with the emotional dimension of dreams. It is also important to recognize that not all dream emotions feel pleasant. Some dreams are disturbing, anxiety-producing, or even nightmarish. These emotionally difficult dreams are often the most memorable and the most important. Your deeper mind is using emotional intensity to get your attention. When you have a disturbing dream, the temptation is often to dismiss it or to try to forget it. But engaging with it, asking what emotion it is expressing, what it might be communicating, often reveals important insights. The emotional intensity of dreams also connects to their function. Dreams are not just random byproducts of sleep. They are part of how your brain processes emotions, integrates experiences, and works through challenges. When a dream is emotionally intense, it often means your brain is actively working on something significant. The dream is not just a recording of emotional content, it is your brain's way of processing and understanding emotion. As you develop greater awareness of emotional content in your dreams, you might also notice that your waking emotional awareness increases. People who pay attention to the emotional dimensions of their dreams often become more emotionally aware in their waking life. They become more attuned to subtle emotional signals, more able to recognize what they are feeling, more capable of understanding the emotional dimensions of their experiences. The dream work spills over into waking life, enhancing emotional intelligence more broadly. Sleep environment and dream clarity. Your bedroom is not merely a place where you happen to sleep. It is a specialized environment that profoundly influences the quality of your sleep, the vividness of your dreams, and your ability to remember them. Every element of your sleep environment, temperature, light, sound, comfort, sends signals to your brain that either support or undermine optimal sleep and dream function. Temperature is one of the most important environmental factors for sleep quality. Your brain naturally cools slightly as you fall asleep, and this cooling is essential for initiating sleep. A room that is too warm makes this natural cooling more difficult and can disrupt sleep architecture, shortening REM periods and reducing dream vividness. Conversely, a room that is slightly cool, typically in the range of 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, though individual preferences vary, supports optimal sleep and tends to enhance REM sleep and dream vividness. If you share your bedroom with a partner, temperature becomes a negotiation. Some people prefer warmer environments, others cooler. One practical solution is to use individual blankets or a duvet system that allows each person to adjust their own warmth independently. The goal is to find a temperature that allows both people to sleep well without either being too warm or too cold. Darkness is another critical factor. Your brain produces melatonin, the hormone that promotes sleep, in response to darkness and suppresses it in response to light. Even small amounts of light can interfere with melatonin production and can disrupt sleep. This is why blackout curtains or an eye mask can be valuable investments. The goal is to create an environment where your bedroom is as dark as possible when you are sleeping. It is particularly important to minimize light from electronic devices. The blue light from phones, tablets, and computer screens suppresses melatonin production and can interfere with sleep even more than other types of light. If you keep your phone in your bedroom, consider placing it face down or across the room so that any notifications do not create light in your visual field. Even better, keep electronic devices out of your bedroom entirely. Sound environment also matters. Some people sleep best in complete silence. Others find that some ambient sound actually helps them sleep. White noise, nature sounds, or gentle music can mask disruptive sounds and create a consistent auditory environment. If you use ambient sound, choose sounds that are relatively consistent rather than sounds with sudden changes or jolting elements. Some people find that the gentle sound of rain or flowing water promotes both relaxation and dream vividness. The physical comfort of your bed is fundamental. You spend approximately 1/3 of your life in bed, and the quality of your mattress, pillows, and bedding influences not just comfort, but also sleep quality. A mattress that is too soft or too firm can cause physical discomfort that disrupts sleep. Pillows should support your neck in a neutral position. Bedding should be comfortable and breathable, allowing for temperature regulation. Beyond these basic elements, the overall aesthetic and emotional atmosphere of your bedroom also influences sleep. A bedroom that feels calm, peaceful, and organized tends to promote better sleep than one that feels chaotic or stressful. You might consider what visual elements make your bedroom feel like a sanctuary. This might include soft lighting, plants, artwork, or simply a clean, uncluttered space. Scent can also play a role in supporting sleep and dream recall. Lavender, chamomile, and other calming scents are associated with relaxation and sleep. Some people find that introducing a subtle, pleasant scent into their bedroom creates a calming atmosphere. As mentioned in the previous discussion of sensory anchoring, a consistent scent can also serve as a contextual anchor for dream recall. The bedroom's function should also be considered. Ideally, your bedroom is a place dedicated primarily to sleep and intimate connection, not a place where you work, watch television, or engage in stressful activities. This separation of spaces helps your brain recognize that the bedroom is a place for rest and sleep, not for waking activities. When your brain makes this association, it becomes easier to transition into sleep and to achieve the deep, restorative sleep that supports good dream recall. If you live in a small space where your bedroom necessarily serves multiple functions, you might create a visual or physical boundary that separates your sleep area from other areas. This might be as simple as a curtain or as elaborate as a room divider. The goal is to create a psychological sense that this is a dedicated sleep space. Temperature regulation during sleep is also worth revisiting. Some people find that they sleep better with their head slightly cooler than their body, which is why some people prefer to sleep with one leg out from under the blankets or with a cooler pillow. Others find that warming their hands and feet before sleep helps them transition into sleep more easily. Experimenting with different configurations can help you find what works for your particular physiology. The cumulative effect of optimizing your sleep environment is significant. When your bedroom supports sleep well, you sleep more deeply, you experience more REM sleep, your dreams are more vivid, and you wake more naturally. All of these factors contribute to enhanced dream recall. Your sleep environment is not a minor detail. It is foundational to the entire project of remembering your dreams. Nutrition and timing for dream. Recall what you eat, and when you eat it influence the architecture of your sleep and the vividness of your dreams in ways that are often overlooked. The relationship between nutrition, sleep timing, and dream quality is complex and individual, but understanding the basic principles can help you optimize your sleep for better dream recall. Sleep architecture is influenced by blood sugar levels and the digestive process. When you eat a large meal close to bedtime, your body is engaged in active digestion when you are trying to sleep. This digestive work can interfere with the natural progression through sleep stages and can reduce REM sleep. Conversely, if you go to bed very hungry, hunger signals can disrupt sleep. The ideal is to eat a moderate meal several hours before bedtime, allowing digestion to proceed without interfering with sleep. The composition of your pre-sleep meal also matters. Meals high in carbohydrates can increase the availability of tryptophan, an amino acid that is a precursor to serotonin and melatonin, both of which promote sleep. Protein, particularly if consumed without carbohydrates, can increase the availability of amino acids that compete with tryptophan, potentially reducing sleep-promoting effects. A balanced meal with both complex carbohydrates and protein is generally ideal. Some specific foods have been associated with improved sleep. Foods rich in magnesium, such as nuts, seeds, and leafy greens, have been shown to support sleep quality. Calcium works synergistically with magnesium, so dairy products can also be helpful, though some people find that dairy close to bedtime can be problematic for other reasons. Whole grains, which contain both complex carbohydrates and B vitamins, can support healthy sleep. Certain foods and substances should be avoided close to bedtime. Caffeine, obviously, can interfere with sleep even when consumed many hours before bed, as caffeine has a half-life of several hours. Alcohol might help you fall asleep initially, but it disrupts sleep architecture, reducing REM sleep and overall sleep quality. High-fat foods can be harder to digest and can interfere with sleep. Spicy foods can cause discomfort that disrupts sleep. The timing of your last meal or drink is also important. A light snack an hour or two before bedtime can support sleep, but a large meal closer to bedtime can interfere. Similarly, while staying hydrated during the day is important, limiting fluids in the hour before bedtime can reduce the likelihood of waking during the night to use the bathroom, which can fragment sleep and make dreams less accessible. Some people find that a warm drink before bedtime supports sleep. Herbal teas such as chamomile, passionflower, or valerian root have been traditionally associated with sleep support and relaxation. Warm milk with a small amount of honey can provide both the comfort of warmth and a small amount of carbohydrate and tryptophan to support sleep. The warmth itself can be comforting and can signal to your body that sleep is approaching. Beyond pre-sleep nutrition, your overall dietary patterns influence sleep quality. A diet rich in whole foods, vegetables, fruits, and healthy fats tends to support better sleep than a diet high in processed foods, refined sugars, and unhealthy fats. The health of your overall diet influences your sleep architecture over weeks and months, with effects on dream vividness and recall. The timing of your sleep is also influenced by your circadian rhythm, your body's internal clock that regulates sleep-wake cycles. Your circadian rhythm is influenced by light exposure, meal timing, and activity patterns. Going to bed and waking at consistent times helps synchronize your circadian rhythm, which improves sleep quality and consistency. When your sleep timing is consistent, your body learns to prepare for sleep. Your sleep becomes deeper, and your dreams become more vivid and accessible. Some people find that their dream vividness varies across the week, with particularly vivid dreams on certain nights. This can sometimes be correlated with diet or activity patterns. If you notice patterns in when you have the most vivid dreams, you can investigate whether there are corresponding patterns in what you ate, when you exercised, or other lifestyle factors. This investigation might reveal specific practices that enhance dream vividness for you. It is also worth noting that certain supplements have been studied for their effects on sleep and dreams. Vitamin B6 has been associated with increased dream vividness in some studies. Magnesium supplements can support sleep quality. However, supplements should be approached carefully, and it is wise to consult with a healthcare provider before starting any new supplement regimen. The foundation should always be good nutrition and healthy lifestyle practices. Supplements are best viewed as additions to, not replacements for, these basics. The relationship between what you eat, when you eat, and how you sleep is bidirectional. Good sleep supports healthy eating patterns and metabolism. Poor sleep often leads to cravings for unhealthy foods and disrupted eating patterns. By supporting your sleep through good nutrition and timing, you are also supporting your overall health and well-being. And by improving your sleep, you are creating the conditions for better dream recall. From fragments to narratives. When you first wake in the morning with a dream fresh in your mind, it rarely comes to you as a complete, coherent narrative. Instead, you often have fragments, a vivid image, a strong emotion, a snippet of conversation, a sense of movement or transition. These fragments are the raw material of dream memory, and your task is to learn how to assemble them into more complete narratives. The process of moving from fragments to fuller narratives is not arbitrary. It is not about making up or imagining details that were not there. It is about allowing your mind to naturally fill in the connections between the fragments you remember. Your brain, throughout the day and night, is constantly engaged in what is called pattern completion, taking partial information and filling in the missing pieces based on what it knows. This process is particularly active when you are in a relaxed, half-awake state. If you lie in bed after waking, without immediately jumping out of bed or checking your phone, and you allow your mind to gently explore the dream fragments you remember, your brain often naturally fills in additional details. You might remember a location, and the location triggers memories of other elements that were present in that location. You might remember a feeling, and the feeling triggers memories of what you were doing or who you were with. The key is patience and gentle exploration. You are not forcing the dream to come back. You are creating conditions in which it naturally emerges. You might ask yourself questions. Where was I in the dream? Who was with me? What was I trying to do? What happened next? These questions, asked in a relaxed, curious way, often prompt your memory to surface additional details. Some people find it helpful to sketch or draw dream fragments rather than only writing about them. If you remember a specific image, drawing that image, even in rough form, can trigger additional memories. The act of drawing engages different neural pathways than writing, and sometimes those pathways access memories that writing alone does not retrieve. Another approach is to narrate the dream aloud before writing it. Some people find that speaking the dream, as if telling it to another person, helps them organize the fragments into a more coherent narrative. The act of narration, the sequential flow of speech, helps your brain organize dream material sequentially. Then, you can write down what you have narrated. It is important to remember that the narrative you construct from fragments is not necessarily the true narrative of the dream in some objective sense. Dreams do not have objective narratives independent of memory. The narrative you construct is the narrative that your memory and your mind are creating in the present moment. This narrative is true to your experience. It is the dream as you are remembering and understanding it now. As you continue to practice dream recall, you often find that you move from fragments to narratives more easily and more completely. Your brain learns the skill of dream assembly. The neural pathways associated with organizing and integrating dream memories become strengthened. What initially required significant effort, lying in bed and coaxing your mind to piece together fragments, becomes more automatic. You might also notice that over time, you begin to remember dreams in more complete form. Rather than waking with fragments that you must then assemble, you wake with larger pieces already assembled. You might remember full scenes, full conversations, sometimes even complete dream narratives. This progression is not magic. It is the result of your brain learning to prioritize dream memory formation. As you demonstrate through your consistent attention that dreams matter to you, your brain invests more resources in making them accessible. The process of assembling fragments into narratives also deepens your engagement with your dreams. You are not just passively receiving them, you are actively participating in their construction. This active engagement is itself memory enhancing. You are strengthening the neural pathways associated with the dream through the work of assembly and organization. It is also worth noting that the narratives you construct from fragments often reveal something about how your mind works, about what connections your brain naturally makes. When you notice that certain dream elements naturally connect in your memory, that certain details naturally follow others, you are accessing information about the associative networks in your brain. This information can itself be meaningful and insightful. Over time, the practice of moving from fragments to narratives becomes a form of meditation. You are sitting quietly with your dreams, allowing them to unfold, gently coaxing them into fuller expression. This quiet, contemplative engagement with your dreams becomes its own reward, regardless of whether you successfully remember every detail. You are creating a dedicated space in your day for connection with your deeper self, for honoring the intelligence and creativity of your dreaming mind. Your dreams as guides. As you develop the capacity to remember your dreams, something shifts in your relationship with yourself. The dreams you retrieve are not just curiosities or entertainment, they are messages from your deeper mind, communications from the part of yourself that operates beneath conscious awareness, that processes your experiences in ways your waking mind cannot. Your dreams are guides because they reveal what you are actually concerned about, what you are actually processing, what your deeper self considers important. Often, these priorities differ from what your conscious mind thinks should be important. You might consciously believe that a particular situation is resolved or unimportant, while your dreams persistently return to that situation, suggesting that your deeper mind has not finished processing it. Your dreams are honest in a way that your waking thoughts sometimes are not. When you pay attention to your dreams, you gain access to a form of wisdom that is not available through conscious thinking alone. Your brain processes information differently during sleep than during waking. It makes connections that your conscious mind might not make. It approaches problems from angles that your logical mind might not consider. Some of humanity's greatest discoveries and creative breakthroughs have come through dreams. The solution that appears in a dream, the insight that emerges from the dreaming mind. But dreams are not primarily guides in the sense of telling you what to do. They are not offering commands or explicit instructions. Rather, they are offering perspective, showing you patterns in your own mind and life that you might not otherwise see. They are showing you what you value, what you fear, what you hope for, what you are avoiding. This self-knowledge, accumulated over time, becomes a form of guidance. You begin to understand yourself more deeply, and from that understanding, wise action naturally emerges. The practice of dream recall is therefore not just about remembering dreams, it is about developing a relationship with your own consciousness. It is about learning to listen to what your deeper mind is communicating. It is about honoring the intelligence and creativity that operates within you, even when you are asleep and not consciously aware of it. As you continue with the practices you have learned, setting intentions, keeping a journal, paying attention to patterns and emotions, creating an optimal sleep environment, you are engaging in an act of self-respect. You are saying, "My dreams matter. My deeper consciousness matters. I am worthy of understanding myself more deeply." This stance, in itself, is transformative. The journey of dream recall is not a destination you arrive at and then finish. It is an ongoing practice, a deepening relationship with yourself that evolves over time. Some nights you will remember vivid, complete dreams. Other nights, you will capture only fragments. Some mornings you will wake with profound insights. Other mornings you might not understand what your dreams are communicating. All of this is part of the process. The benefits of dream recall extend far beyond the dreams themselves. People who engage in consistent dream work often report increased creativity, improved problem-solving abilities, greater emotional awareness, and deeper self-understanding. The practice of paying attention to your dreams teaches you to pay attention to your inner experience more generally. You become more attuned to your intuition, more aware of subtle signals from your body and emotions. Your dreams are calling to you every night. They are waiting to be discovered, to be understood, to be integrated into your waking life. The practices you have learned throughout this exploration, intention setting, journaling, understanding sleep architecture, creating an optimal environment, engaging with symbols and emotions, are all tools for answering that call. As you move forward, remember that dream recall is a skill that develops gradually. Be patient with yourself. Some nights will be more successful than others. Some weeks you might remember vivid dreams every night. Other weeks might be less productive. This variation is normal and does not indicate failure. You are building a new habit, strengthening new neural pathways, developing a new relationship with yourself. These things take time. The universe of your dreams is infinite. Every night, your brain creates entire worlds, populates them with characters and scenarios, weaves narratives of stunning complexity. This creative capacity, this intelligence that operates within you even when you are asleep, is part of your essential nature. By learning to remember and honor your dreams, you are honoring a fundamental aspect of yourself. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the science and art of dream recall. If this exploration has brought you insight, peace, or a sense of connection with yourself, I would appreciate a like and a subscription to Relaxing Science. Your support helps us continue to create content that honors the mysteries of consciousness and the intelligence that dwells within each of us. Let me know. As you continue with these practices, what dreams do you most want to remember? What guidance are you seeking from your deeper mind? Share your thoughts and experiences below. This community of dreamers, spanning different locations and time zones, all united in the desire to understand the hidden dimensions of consciousness, is strengthened by your voice. The night is approaching. As you prepare for sleep, remember that your dreams are waiting. Set your intention. Prepare your journal. Create the conditions for memory, and then surrender to sleep, knowing that your deeper mind is working, creating, communicating. You are not separate from this process. You are not a passive observer. You are the dreamer, and your dreams are waiting to be discovered. Welcome back to the infinite universe within you. Your dreams have been waiting a long time to be remembered. End of screenplay total.